fresh off of the. Oh, I guess if I was in the actual main page, I would probably see to share this. Oh, great! Uh, gotta love it. It's been one of those weeks for me. I tell you, man.
Yeah.
So,
Fresh off of Rockin' Pod Expo weekend.
yeah.
I'm sure that's what you were gonna say.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah. So, yeah, but I had to support Valkyrie's Fire since you was like trying to show me up during the. As I just been.
I wasn't trying to show anybody up.
Oh, I know. I was just fucking with you.
Just trying to support our friends in Valkyrie's Fire.
Yeah.
Betty and Dave and Adam and Ryan
Yeah.
and Joey.
Yep. And we actually had a chance to chat with those guys on the podcast and off a little bit. So
Yep.
it's pretty cool. I actually finally got to meet Joey. I don't think I ever actually met Joey until the other day. So
Yeah.
the other people in the band I've kind of I don't think I've actually talked to Betty. I knew passed by and said hey or whatever, but
Right.
I wasn't ever like a conversational thing. She seems like she's not very like I don't know. To me, like unless you like pin her down, like it's like
Yeah.
I don't think she's going to initiate one. I put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a very talented lady though. So and of course
Yeah.
we already knew Dave, and then I had met the drummer at the church when we were down
Yep.
there at that show. So
Oh yeah.
so yeah, so it was pretty cool to kind of meet other parts of the band. That's kind of why I wanted Betty on because I was like, well,
Right.
I said one of the singers, I didn't care, but
Yeah.
I was like, well, the reason I felt like I kind of could get more info with Betty being the only one that's not in the state. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, kind of hear her perspective on how they coordinate everything. So
That's true. Yeah, because they do have a little bit of distance to cover.
yeah,
So.
yeah. So it's it's really cool how they make it work too. And then like I said, if you hadn't watched it yet, I'm gonna try to break all that down. I got an extra day off this weekend, so try to break all that down and at least put a couple of the interviews up this weekend. So
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really like to me, like the special part for that band to me is that they all collaborate together.
Mm-hmm.
No one person is the band. It's like it's like you don't hear that often either. I mean, even with some of our favorite bands, it's kind of like even with Metallica, of course, you got
Right.
you got Metallica, you got James and Lars, and I mean outside of that, they'll snore your nose at everything else.
Yeah, for the longest time it was like that.
Right.
Yeah, even by their own admission, they were like, yeah, we were kind of overbearing for a long time. They kind of, they kind of had to learn their lesson at some point. But I mean, it's one of those cases of better late than never. But yeah, with Valkyrie's Fire, I mean, everyone has input, which is good because they all have their own. And we learned this during the interview that they all have their own background in musical education.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they all have,
which is crazy to have all members like that.
Yeah, so they all have a perspective to add, and so it's cool that they're able to all interact in the band that way. So
yeah, it's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance to check out our interviews yet, we had Brian Slagle on Friday.
Oh.
So that is at this point that's the only interview that is standalone because he was the only interview that was on Friday. But we tried to make it a little bit easier on Saturday instead of live streaming the whole day all in one shot like we did back in 2023. We kind of cut it off at like approximately like 3-hour blocks. So I mean, we ended up with 12 interviews on Saturday. So, I mean, we had quite a busy day. We had a great day. It was a lot of fun.
And like I said, we've never been shied away from what we do here. We try to build up smaller bands. That's kind of what we built this for.
Yeah.
But, we go to these because this is our chance to kind of, I guess I want to say geek out as a fan because it's kind of like you see a lot of bands there that we grew up listening to. So it's kind of our chance to be on, to do what we do and still be a fan at the same time.
Right.
So it's kind of, cool to us because would we ever get Brian Slagle on this show without doing that? Probably not.
No, I mean, probably
not. Maybe, but the odds are not in our favor. I promise you. But
yeah, because
we aren't Lou Brutus. So
yeah, because I guarantee you, if we would have sent like an email correspondence to Metal Blade, our email probably would have gotten bogged down in an in an inbox that gets hundreds of emails a day. No one would have seen it.
We'd got marked as spam or something.
That's true. I mean, that definitely could have happened. It definitely could have happened. So I mean, having the opportunity to talk to someone like that who played a major influence early on
in many bands that we still listen to today.
Yes, so. But I mean, just left an indelible mark on heavy metal. I mean, you're talking about a 40+ year career literally making bands careers
and still doing it.
So and still crazy. Doing it. Yeah. Still, yeah. And it's hard to believe that. I mean, he looks great.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he looks great, man. I mean, I don't exactly know how old he is. He's
got to be older than us.
Judging by the fact that he's had a 40-year career, I think he's probably in his 60s.
I would think so. Yeah.
But I mean, super duper nice. I mean, he was an open book. I mean, and he also stayed with us longer than he had to. We ended up having like a 30-35 minute interview when we were only slated for like 15.
I know, right?
So I mean, that was super duper gracious of him to do that. So
the only thing that was kind of awkward with that is if you see us, we're always kind of like looking this way, looking at because we're waiting on some, PR person or PA, whatever they call those people that
I just called them chaperones, basically.
Well, yeah, whatever. We're always looking. It seems like we were always looking for one trying to cut us off, But so it's kind of like, even though so when we got down close to the 15, I'm like looking around, like, man, if nobody say that, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Right. Yeah.
So you get what we can get out of it. So.
Yeah. I mean, we did have that happen a couple times. I know that there was a couple times where we were interviewing people, and I could see somebody like over my monitor here, and they would they would give us one of these, like, hey, you got 2 minutes, and I would be like, I gotcha. So. Yeah. But at the same time, on Saturday it was a super busy day. So I mean, everybody who was there, I mean, they were going from like table to table to table. And the funny thing is, like, I was telling you about this on Friday when we were there setting up. I kind of walked around to some of the tables in our immediate area. I didn't obviously walk the entire pavilion, but I was looking at the interview itinerary that some of these other podcasts had. And we had the longest list of interviews that I saw on all the tables that I looked at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, except for like the main, they had two like main stage type things going on. Of course, they talked to everybody. So.
Oh yeah, but I mean, they
got the Billy Sheehan interviews and shit that we didn't get.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as the podcasters who were guests there, I mean, we had the longest list that I saw. So as far as I know. I guarantee you we were one of the busiest tables, if not the busiest, as far as the podcasters who showed up.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot. So what was probably your favorite out of the weekend? I know it's gonna be hard to do, but
it really is. I don't in order to not just sit here and kind of have dead air going on. I'm probably going to say Brian Slagle only because of what he's meant to this genre of music and the fact that if it weren't for the part he played, who knows what heavy metal would be and who knows if we would have even developed the fandom that we had. Well,
you probably would be wearing that t-shirt right now.
Probably not. Yeah. to the point where who knows if, I mean, I'm sure all things being equal, we still would have struck up a friendship because basically how we met anyway. Well, yeah. But I don't know that without Brian helping develop heavy metal the way he did, that we would have had that common thread and would have gotten to this point where we had the show.
Definitely wouldn't be as massive as it is today.
Yeah. Sure. So basically just due to influence and like you said a couple minutes ago, the opportunity that was granted to us for us being there the same weekend that he came to town. Mm-hmm. So just everything the way it worked out and us getting a chance to talk to him. So,
well, I mean, like he wasn't even supposed to do interviews on Friday. He actually he actually
right.
said, hey, I'm here on Friday too, man. If there's anybody out there who wants to do interviews on
Yeah.
Friday, I'll come out.
So yeah, so that was another
that
thing.
was another
He
really cool to do that. So.
Yeah, so he was gracious enough to kind of grant, the overflow, I guess, is kind of how that went. So I would probably say just because of what he means to heavy metal in general, probably Brian. But I mean, it was a really tough question to answer because I mean, like I say, we got to talk to Betty. We got to talk to Betty and Dave. Got to learn more about them.
I enjoyed the Beardo and the Weirdo. Honestly,
That
it
was
was super funny and
that
like it
was
was. And I mean, it was almost like we didn't have to do any of the work. I mean, they just kind of took over. it's like,
and that's fine.
It's almost like we were their guest at some point. I was like,
well, that was the cool thing because they did kind of did do that at one point.
Yeah.
Like what was the question that they asked us again? I can't even remember what they asked.
I can't remember either.
I'd have to go back and look at the interview, but they wanted to ask us a question. I can't even remember.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was pretty cool.
But I mean everything was so fun. I mean, talking to Peyton Spears, I mean, 15-year-old kid.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We talk about the future of metal. I mean, I mean, there you go, man. There's 15-year-olds out there doing their things, trying to build up into, a career in this. So
and then I mean, talking to him, seeing somebody who's, like you said, up and coming and influenced by the same music as us, basically.
I tell you what, really, to me with him, what that got me was his parents. Man, they were like super laid back, super supportive.
Oh yeah,
not you think about most of the parents or something in show business in general that you see is pretty much assholes, or from what we've learned, from documentaries and whatnot, but not all the time.
Yeah,
for the most part. It's cool to see them, people being kind of humble and
I mean,
knowing where they're at and where they come from and where they're going. So
Peyton's parents definitely seem to be the exception more than the rule. But I mean, but there were a lot. I enjoyed every interview, but there were a lot of cool moments. I mean, a lot of neat little moments. I mean, like when we were talking to Christopher Williams from Accept, like,
oh yeah,
we spent a good 5
talking about cartoons.
So I mean,
that was crazy.
I mean, just cool little shit like that, So I mean, and getting to talk to Ron and Don about the book.
Oh yeah, the book. Yeah.
So and then we each went and bought it and they autographed it. So I mean, and then a band that we had never heard of from Adam, we've never met,
Oh yeah,
the guys in Element 117.
Yeah,
they walk over to our table with each of us a zip drive with all of their music and a T-shirt.
Yeah,
I mean, like I say, never met these guys from Adam, and they were cool enough to come over, give us that stuff, and I mean they were super duper nice. Nashville band trying to make a name for themselves. Getting to talk to Cheney about all of the stuff that she's gone through after her accident. And then another thing that I thought was cool is realizing how many people. That's super cool. And then realizing while we're talking to all these people, how many of these people actually live in Nashville.
Yeah, that was the crazy part to me too, is like, I would say 95% of who we talked to lived in Nashville.
Pretty much.
I mean, I was like, wow. I was like,
live in the mid-state. Yeah.
That, I mean, what they say, like 4 out of the 6 members of Accept live in Nashville.
Yeah, they do.
That's kind of crazy to think about too. So
and then come to find out that Wolf Hoffman's been living here for like 30 years.
Yeah, that's even
no
like
idea.
More. Yeah, we're right down the road and don't even know. So
had no idea. It's crazy.
He's been a wolf in sheep's clothing here, I
guess. But I mean,
So you talk about Cheney. I think, like, to me, that band's story is so great because I think I would say this, the majority of bands get hit with the obstacles that they've had would probably done gave up. I mean,
Oh, more than likely.
I'm not even gonna lie, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like unreal. Going through the guitars, her accident.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so much stuff, man. It's like crazy. And then I think her husband's involved in that project too, which is good.
Yeah.
So they got she's got the emotional support there too. So
Yeah.
that's cool that they have that going for them too. So
But still, at the same time, when she had her accident, I mean, odds were definitely against her being able to, first of all, recover, and then second of all, recover to the point where she could still perform the way she performs.
yeah,
Because
I
she was
agree.
talking about the whole thing with her nose, talking about
Right.
how far they wanted to go with the reconstruction on her nose and where they decided to stop because if they went any further, she wouldn't be able to sing.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean that the that's the choice you make. I mean, you want
right.
to and I think that's shows on her part too how much this means to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not about how I look; it's about what I can do,
Yeah.
with my voice.
Well,
So
and the funny thing is it's not like she was sitting there at the table with us, and you could tell she was all like her face is all
well,
mangled.
no,
I mean,
you couldn't tell.
no, I mean, you know, if
That's what
you,
I'm saying. It's not
yeah,
noticeable enough to where you would be like, yeah, let's do the surgery. I don't care about what it does to my voice, but
yeah, because I mean,
being doing what she's doing and knowing that's what she wants to do the rest of her life, she's like,
right.
no, I don't care. I'll just live with my nose messed up. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's the thing is like if you didn't know the story and then
You'd have never known no difference. I mean,
know the extent of the injuries, yeah, you probably would have no idea.
you just thought she was from like Romania or something. I mean,
Well, yeah, she actually kind of alluded to that, but all in all, it was a super fun weekend.
yeah, it was a cool weekend, man. I was like looking forward to next year. So
Yeah.
I've already reached out to Tracy and put some names in her ear. So we'll see what happens.
So there you go.
We'll see what happens. So
That's a good idea.
I actually know some people, some people that live around the area due to my job. So I'm kind of like, I wonder why they haven't reached out to this guy or that guy. So I asked her, I said, "You ever reached out to so and so?" And she's like, "Not." She goes, "Not directly, but I do know he lives here." So yeah, maybe reach out. You never know. He's only probably 50 miles up the road here. So I mean,
Yeah. And there's I'm sure I don't know if we're talking about the same person, but he's all
it would be huge. I mean, it would be huge.
I don't know if it's the same person, but at the same time, you would have a story to tell. Hey, remember that one time?
Right? Yeah. Oh no, not that one. No, it's actually not even that one.
Okay,
Yeah, I
different.
know. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Okay,
I mean
but
that one too. That one too,
still,
especially from that era of music.
right?
He would definitely fit right in there. So
He absolutely would.
I think they actually did reach out to him one year and he couldn't do it because
Oh,
he was actually doing a cruise where they do the hair metal bands on the cruise. I can't remember what they call that one,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
but he was on that one at the time, I think, because you remember it was like back. I guess like the first time we did it was in like March, wasn't it? I think the first year it was not.
No, it was still in April, I believe.
Was it? I thought it was at the end of March for some reason. So
You know what? Honestly, I would have to look, but I'm wanting to say it was still. I'm wanting to say it was still like the beginning of April
okay.
because that was why they took last year off. The reason they took there were two reasons why they took 2024 off because Chris and Tracy were swapping roles. Chris was kind of taking a step back. He was still involved, but he was kind of more.
Well, the main thing is they double booked the venue. That was the main part. So
yeah. So venue was like, well, you can still do it in 2024, but we would rather you guys do it in July. And they were like, well, if I do it July of 24, I still want to do April of 25, and that would give me a short timeline
to get everything together. Yeah, it would have been super. Especially, I mean, it was kind of pressed for time doing it. This year. So I mean,
it was
especially with taking off that year. I think kind of
yeah.
Bands touring. It's hard to reach out and get a good number of people together.
Well, I guarantee you. I guarantee you at this point they've already have to be talking about 26 at this point. You have to. Oh,
they do. Yeah, they're already running through names. I'm sure.
Yes, so. I mean you can't take any time off because, like exactly like you said, all the artists you want to reach out to, they have schedules, they have to coordinate and everything else. I will say one thing: I hope they don't change the date. Because I like this early April date because I mean the weather is nice.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty
hot. So I mean,
yeah, if you get into that building in July, it'd be probably scorching. Probably.
No. Yeah, no. So keep it. So I'm glad they actually made that decision not to do it in
Mhm.
July, because
Yeah, me too.
if that would have been the new date to do it, I don't think. Well, first of all, you're talking right in the middle of like concert and festival season and shit like
Right.
that in
Yeah,
July. So I mean,
that would have hurt them.
you would have handcuffed yourself with trying to get the people that you wanted to get. So I think still doing it early in the spring is actually the right call for everyone's schedule, and like I say, just because the weather's nicer.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, like you said, great time. Hopefully, we'll get to go back next year.
yeah,
Uh, and hopefully with like I said, we had a couple of repeat guests, but for the most part, it was all new. So
yeah.
Bob Chiappardi was there again this year, which is always good to talk to him. He's got many years in the business
Oh,
too.
so much
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. If you don't know who that guy is, look him up. He actually is responsible for the Pantera today. So there you
That's right.
go.
Yes, he is.
So, or distributed anyway. So
Yep. So yeah, we do owe Bob Chiappardi a great debt of gratitude.
it is. All right, gang. I guess we better barrel into what's going on this week. There's a lot of. I think it's breakup week, is according to what I've been
It's
seeing.
sure
It's
as
like
hell, sure as hell seems like it.
it's crazy. But we'll kick off with a few birthdays, and I'm going to go back to the previous week because we weren't on last week, so I'm going to try to get as
Right.
many of them out there as I can too. So
That's fine.
I'll go back to the 5th. April 5th, we had Dave Holland, of course, drummer for Judas Priest from 79 to 89. And, of course, he passed away in 2018, uh, which that may be a trending topic here today, too. Uh, so then we had Sahaj, d- vocalist, guitarist, and record producer for Ra and Metal. April 6th, we had Udo Dirk Schneider, vocalist for Accept from 76 to 87, and, of course, for UDO now. So
Yep.
Johnny D, drummer for Britney Fox, Martin Mendez, bassist for Opeth, Roy Mayorga, drummer for Stone Sour and Hell Yeah. April 7th, we had John Cooper, vocalist and bassist for Skillet. April 8th, we had Izzy Stradlin. Where is Izzy? Guitarist for Guns N' Roses. We had Paul Gray, bassist for Slipknot, and of course, we know he passed away in 2010.
Right.
And that's another thing I hate this part of, is because I know I'm celebrating a birthday, but it's so many people on here that's list now that's just gone, and it's
Right.
and it's bad because they were, most of them were gone too soon. So
Yeah, pretty much.
especially this next one. April 8th also had Alexi Leho, guitarist and vocalist for Children of Bottom, Synergy. Of course, we know he passed away in 2021. So
At 41 years old.
yeah, way too young, dude. Like I feel like they were like on that just like, I mean, they were a step away from like booming, I think. So
Yeah.
I mean, not to say they weren't already in certain areas of the world, but here,
Yeah, they were
in the
definitely
states, they
they
were
were
they
de-
were they were right there, I think. So.
yeah, they were definitely big over in Europe, and more
Mm-hmm.
specifically Finland, where they were headquartered.
Right. April 9th, we had Craig Mabit, sorry, vocalist for Escape the Fate, Mike Mushak, guitarist for Stain, Newstead, and Saint Sonia. April 10th, we had Tim Alexander, drummer for Primus, Warren DeMartini, guitarist for Rat, and Tom Hunting, drummer for Exodus. April 11th, we had Oliver Riddell, bassist for Rammstein, Jimmy Masterbo, guitarist for Methane, one of our good friends from the past
Mhm.
there.
Oh yeah.
April 12th, we had D.D. Verney, bassist and songwriter for Overkill. Sebnem Farah, vocalist for Volvox. Uh, the defunct Volvox, by the way, which I did not. I was kind of wondering when I seen that name. I said, I know that name, and they had a short-lived career. It looks like back in the '80s and early '90s. So, which is sad, but
Mhm.
actually, they was. I think they were from Colombia, maybe. I'll have to look it back up. But anyway, it was kind of an area we haven't been to, and I was like, oh man, it'd be cool to interview those guys if they were still around.
Yep.
I had to look it back up to see where it was from. All right, April 13th, we had Randy Piper, guitarist from Wasp from 82 to 86. We had Bill D'Angelo, guitarist for Film Fatale. He unfortunately passed away in 2005. And then I'm going to kill this name probably, but it's, I don't know how they pronounce their J's there. I'm going to say it's a Y. You're Rowan Desling, bassist from Pestilence and Obscura. I'm not sure if I was right on that, but was a wild guess. So the thing that I found amazing about him is he's a fretless bassist, which is
Right.
crazy to me. Like,
Yeah.
uh, no frets. It's like,
Yeah. How the hell do you know where to put your hands? I mean,
I don't know, dude. It's like, it's crazy. Know what to do with my hands. So.
yeah.
Also, April 13th, we had Aaron Lewis, vocalist and songwriter for Stain. April 14th, Richie Blackmore, guitarist for Rainbow and Deep Purple. Christian Alvestam, guitarist for Scar Symmetry and Visceration. April 15th, we had Frankie Poulon, bassist for The Darkness. Ben Casica, guitarist for Skillet. And Phil Labonte, vocalist for All That Remains. April 16th, we had Lee Kerslake, drummer for Uriah Heep and Ozzy Osbourne. Fortunately, he passed away in 2020. And it's crazy that we've been doing this so long that I remember that story.
I know.
So, oh, man. April 17th, Maynard James Keenan, vocalist and songwriter for Tool and A Perfect Circle. And then Michael Ackerfeld, guitarist and vocalist for Opeth. Then April 18th, which is today, we got Mick Sweda, guitarist and songwriter for King Cobra from 84 to 87, and then the Bullet Boys from 87 to 93. Then we had Kelly Hansen, vocalist for Hurricane. And of course, now he's with Foreigner, which is a kind of totally different band, but it's kind of crazy to see he went from that to that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And then Mark Tremonte, of course, guitarist for Creed, Alter Bridge, and Tremonte. So that's the birthdays I had. I don't know if you got any that I missed, but it's been 2 weeks, so I'm probably doing
I don't. I don't have any. I don't have any that you don't.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, happy birthday to those. And then, like I said, if anybody out there listening had a birthday, happy birthday to you as well. So we like to keep the fans in the loop too. So
that's right.
So, we appreciate. I know I see a lot of people joining us on X tonight, which is pretty cool.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. So
thank you for joining us. All right.
So now we can move on to this grim metal news of the week.
That's right. And you made a quick little allusion to this during the birthday segment. So we're gonna lead off with this.
Okay.
And a little strange with this one. And I'll get to that in a minute. I'll tell you why. But over at metalsucks.net, of course, this was everywhere. Mm-hmm. Overnight, of course, this story was from the 15th. So overnight, legendary metal outfit Judas Priest revealed to the world that former drummer Les Binks had passed away at 73 years of age. The band released the following statement about his passing. Quote, "We are deeply saddened about the passing of Les and send our love to his family, friends, and fans. The acclaimed drumming he provided was first class, demonstrating his unique techniques, flair, style, and precision. Thank you, Les. Your acclaim will live on," end quote. Binks played drums for Judas Priest between 77 and 79. During that time, he was featured on both 1978's Stained Class and 1979's Hell Bent for Leather, as well as the band's live album Unleashed in the East. Following his time with Judas Priest, he played with a number of other projects, including former Judas Priest guitarist KK Downing's spin-off band, KK's Priest, from 2019 to 2021. Oh, nice. Back in 2022, Binks was able to participate in Judas Priest's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where he was inducted with the rest of the band. He also performed with the band following their induction. We at Metal Sucks and we at Metalheads Unite would like to extend our deepest condolences to Binks' family, friends, loved ones, and former bandmates during this incredibly difficult time. Now, the interesting part is that supposedly, when I first heard about this, I first heard about it on This Day in Metal. That's not the strange part. The strange part is that supposedly he died on March 15th. So, can't get confirmation on that. But when I first heard it, the initial reports were that Peyton, what's going on, man?
Hey.
Peyton Spears, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, we were just talking about you a minute ago.
All good things, we promise.
Yeah, all good things. But thank you for joining us, man. Hope everything's going well. When I first heard the story, apparently he had died on March 15th, and there's actually...
did I see a post saying the 14th? It was like from the 14th?
See, that's the thing, is it was even the story that I just read was from the 15th, and the story from the 15th said that it was announced on the 14th, but I still can't get confirmation that's actually when he passed away. because I read something. I think it may have been on either Billboard's website or Rolling Stone's website that said that there was a death notice from a UK hospital that said that he died on the 15th.
Okay.
So no one really
Yeah,
knows
that's
100% for sure when he died, but we do know that it was obviously within the last, 5 weeks.
mhm.
And there's no cause of death, of course, but he is gone
Mhm.
nonetheless. But so yeah, a little bit of a
That's
strange wrinkle in there that we don't exactly know
yeah,
100% sure what day he died.
that is kind of
So
wild. You know what though? I was just thinking when you read that, I was like, man, at least he got to experience the Hall of Fame ceremony
right,
and stuff like that. So, I
yeah.
mean, at least he got to experience that. That's pretty cool. I mean, cool, you know.
Going to see Jack White at the Pinnacle tomorrow. That's very cool. We have Jason's already been to the Pinnacle once, and my first time at the Pinnacle is going to be on the 11th when Trivium and Bullet for My
Yeah.
Valentine are there. So
It's like it's probably becoming one of my favorite venues just because of the setup, dude. It is so freaking convenient. Like they built it for convenience. They really did,
yeah, so
and it's cool and it's good for fans. I mean, no matter what you
yeah,
see there, whether it's
yeah,
DJ or a country band, pop band, whatever you see there,
yeah,
it's like I'm sure it's all going to be set up the same way. So,
right,
um, but it's really really cool. Um,
yeah,
yeah, it's
Peyton, yeah, R.I.P. Les Banks, absolutely. So
so. Anyway, I will try to get to a little bit better news, I guess. But
yeah,
all right, my first one is over from
yeah,
Metal.
we never like to we never like to. I was just about to say we don't like to lead off the news with a passing, but got to make sure we get it out there because more often than not, the Grammys aren't going to talk about it at the
Yeah.
end of the year. So we're damn sure going to. So
Oh, speaking of that, I don't know if you've seen we got flagged for using that fallen brother on our video last year. So
oh yeah, no, I saw that.
I
Yeah,
was like,
I
what
saw it.
the hell? Whatever, dude.
I saw it. But the funny thing is like anybody who watched the show live, they got to see it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so it is
And
what it is.
and and it's still on YouTube and Facebook and whatever. So
Yeah. So I mean, it's fine.
yeah. So this guy was it Spotify? I think flagged us for it.
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Don't many people listen to us on Spotify anyway. So, uh, but which is all right. Don't give him no money if you don't have to. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
all right. My first one's over from Metal Hammer. Not a surprising story, I don't guess, but former Guns N' Roses manager Alan Niven has claimed that frontman Axl Rose now collects 50% of the band's income. Niven was speaking with Appetite for Distortion, the Guns N' Roses themed podcast hosted by Brando Weissel. I guess that's his last name. I'm pretty sure. He said, "quote It's a control thing with Axl. Here's another little snapshot that is illuminating and goes to forming a correct perception. Axl takes 50% of the income of Guns N' Roses now. 50%. Okay, that to me is anathema. Anathema, I guess. He is not Guns N' Roses. There are five individuals. It was a chemistry. It was a moment. But Axl wants to be in control of everything all the time. And look what that gets you.
Right.
Boring solo record and a shitty thing of funk covers, and that's it. Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow. Yeah, shots fired.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
It said, end quote. Niven is presumably referring to the last two Guns N' Roses albums, 93's covers album, The Spaghetti Incident, and 2008's famously long-awaited Chinese Democracy. This isn't the first time Niven, who managed Guns N' Roses from 86 to 91 and oversaw their chaotic rise to prominence, has criticized Axl Rose. Quote, I have no hope of or interest in a new Guns N' Roses album, he told Classic Rock in 2022. The tantrums of youth look absurd on a 60-year-old. The tantrums of youth look absurd. I'll say, oh my God. It's a shame they have been creatively impotent since 1991. And I agree with that. I mean,
Oof.
it's they really haven't. They're touring off of stuff they've done 30 years ago. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's nothing they've done recently. So at some point you're just going to be like, okay, what do we tour on, because everybody's done seen this. So anyway, Alan Nevin's book Sound and Fury: Rock and Roll Stories is published on June 24th and can be pre-ordered now at whatever outlet there is you buy books from. I'm sure Amazon, Barnes and Noble, whatever there. So
Yeah.
if you want to get some insight on other bands and stuff that he's dealt with, there you go. So
Yeah. Peyton, before I get in my next story, Peyton brought up something in the chat that was interesting and that I actually did see. He said that Ringo's son Zach got fired from the Who. I actually did see that, and the messed up thing. It's not funny. I shouldn't chuckle, but I mean I guess it's kind of funny because there are worse things you could get fired for. But they fired him for overplaying.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds kind of sounds like the guy smack Motley Crue incident where
Yeah,
they were
kind
just
of.
like, "How are we supposed to follow that?" Well, I don't know. You've been around longer than us. Figure it out.
Kind of, yeah. So,
It's like,
so,
uh,
so I mean, it's not funny that he got fired, but like I say, it was kind of it
well, I
was
mean, if he's overplaying, maybe he's in the wrong band anyway. So,
well, yeah, I mean that might be true, but yeah, Peyton, I did see that. I mean, it's unfortunate for Zach, but I mean, he probably won't be out of work for too long.
well, he's probably what 25, 30 years younger than everybody else in the band.
Probably, yeah, he probably is. But but yeah, so I did see that. I thought it was strange, but yeah, I thought it was an odd reason to get fired.
But to me, it's like if you're that old, you know that somebody younger than you is going to play faster than you or outplay you because
Yeah,
that's just how life works. I mean,
yeah.
and you can't go out and play football at 53 years old against a 3
Uh-huh.
24-year-old kid coming out of college and think you're going to beast him. It's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently the problem. I think the problem was is I think he was playing to the point where he was drowning out Roger Daltrey and he couldn't
Oh
hear.
God.
So I think he was having issues with like hitting his mark because of the drums or something. But to me, that doesn't really sound like it's Zach's problem.
Right. So
I
like
don't
he
know. It seems like
turn his
the
hearing aid up or something.
That's right. I think Zach kind of got scapegoated a little bit. So I think it's a touch unfair, but I
Yeah.
mean
He'll bounce back.
that's kind of that's
Especially getting fired for that reason. There's already other bands going, hey, well, if he's playing that fast, he can play with us.
see that's kind of they had Keith Moon, Zach underplays compared. That's also true. That's also true. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. All right, over to Metal Injection for my next one. Sad news this morning, and this morning was yesterday. Sad news this morning as Kubla Khan, Texas guitarist Nolan Ashley has left the band after 13 years. Ashley cites a 2023 disc replacement surgery and ensuing physical therapy as the reason, mostly because his grip strength never was the same and he couldn't play the band's songs live anymore. It's a huge bummer to read this. Here's hoping everything maybe gets better for Ashley and he can return to the band at some point.
Yeah.
Quote, after 13 incredible years, it's with a heavy heart that I announce my departure from Kubla Khan, Texas. Matt, Eric, and Isaac are my family, and every moment spent with you all has been a cherished memory. I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. In 2023, with the incredible support of my band, my family, and everyone who offered kind words or a dime to help, I was able to undergo the surgery my doctors had long recommended. Since my disc replacement surgery and the extensive physical therapy that followed, I faced challenges I never anticipated. Unfortunately, my grip strength hasn't returned and I can no longer play the songs I helped write live. It's a difficult goodbye, not the one I ever imagined for myself, but I know this is the right decision. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to my family, to my amazing life partner, and my beautiful daughters for their unwavering support throughout this journey. It hasn't been easy, and your love means everything to me. Thank you to everyone who has supported me in Kubla Khan, Texas through the years. You'll never fully understand what a dream it's been and how deeply grateful I am. End quote. So definitely disappointing for him, and I'm sure the guys in the band are disappointed, but they understand. Someone's trying to look out for their health. That damn cat. You hear that? You hear the
Yeah.
cat trying to claw at the door? Um, but yeah, so hopefully Nolan is able to fully recover. And like they said in the story, I mean, if he's able to kind of take a step back and maybe do a little bit more of rehab, I mean, maybe that all comes back, and then maybe somewhere down the line they can reconnect. Because I mean, it's not like the talent will go away. So I mean, the talent will still be there.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, everything kind of, with some rest and some time away, everything kind of gets back to where it needs to be. So
Yeah. I'm kind of glad you did that story because he was not at the show then when I seen them open for Killswitch either. So
Oh, okay.
So he didn't even join the tour. So I can't remember. I think they did say he was just back home recuperating. They didn't really say. They just said he was back home recuperating. So evidently that's kind of all led into together, I guess. So,
Yeah. But yeah, so we definitely wish him luck.
I just want to point out something before I get any further in this. We just talked about Peyton. He's 15 years old. And look at the names he's dropping in our chat over here. So it's kind of like, yeah, we talk about this a lot. How metal guitarists aren't haven't always drawn inspiration from other metal guitarists.
Right.
It's we know Gary Moore has been a big inspiration to a lot of guys. Most of the time when we talk about this stuff, it's usually a Hendrix reference or somewhere in there. So, and I'll down on the hill saying Hendrix was probably the metalist thing going at the time he was playing. So,
way ahead of his time.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I can imagine him still playing now, and with all the technology that he could be playing with right now. Jesus, it'd be unreal to hear what he could do.
Yeah, I mean, he would only be in his 60s right now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying with the technology he has now, what he was doing then, he didn't have a portion of what we had now. Yeah, you're right. Jeff Beck's a big inspiration to a lot of people.
Absolutely, Nick Ronson, Jeff Beck. I mean, absolutely.
Not metal guitars, but they're a big inspiration to a lot of metal guitars. So, all right. My second one here is from Metal Hammer as well. I guess Johnny Hawkins from Nothing More had since they started a new tour, I guess he was kind of, speaking of them, congratulations to Halo Scars, just performed with those guys earlier in the week. So, or was it last week? I can't remember.
It was
last Thursday, right?
It was last Thursday. Thursday.
So congrats on those guys for getting to play with the Nothing More. Like I said, Nothing More is a high energy band. If you never seen them, or if you have seen them, you know what I'm talking about. If you hadn't, then you're probably missing out. I mean, but anyway, he was talking about some stories here. He said, Nothing More frontman Johnny Hawkins has described a tour with Sleep Token and In This Moment as the worst of his life. He said, from a bus being flooded with toilet water, a friend dying, a key crew member quitting, and shows being canceled, pretty much everything that could go wrong on the 2022 American trip did go wrong. The trek was headlined by In This Moment, with main support coming from Hawkins' band's Nothing More and Sleep Token playing before them. Hawkins tells the is it Jasiah Lee? I guess it's Jasiah Lee show. Quote, it was the worst tour of my life. The people on the tour were amazing. We got along with everyone, but the whole tour was fucking cursed. Every day we were like, what's going to happen today? Sleep Token's bus flooded and all the bathroom stuff backed up, so they were walking in it for days. They had a bus driver that quit and just left the bus. One of our crew guys and a really good friend died. The next day we had someone not make it because of a flight. Then we had 2 shows canceled, on and on and on. Every day was literally a crisis on that tour. End quote. Despite the chaos, Hawkins had found memories of at least one aspect of the tour. He adds, quote, on the flip side, we got to see Sleep Token blow up in front of our eyes. You could just see it happening. People were showing up and were stoked to be there. And I'll be honest, I love the dudes in Sleep Token, great band, and it was a good touring with them, but I really didn't think they would blow up as big as they did. I thought they would be a niche band. They are so conceptual, and a lot of the music takes a lot of patience. I feel like they tapped into the sexy metal of Deftones and made it relevant again. I love that about them. They are one of those bands by big risk, big reward, end quote. I'll say this, they're popular, but I don't get it. I may be the sole person that don't, but I don't get the popularity. So
yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I'm happy for them as a band and kind of what they're doing. Super happy for them. Kind of begrudgingly, I kind of feel the same way about Ghost. I don't listen to Ghost, but I mean we've debated on this show before. Is Ghost metal? Are they not metal? I mean, it's kind of up in the air.
Have you heard the new song by them yet?
I haven't.
So the thing that amazes me about those guys is like they'll start out and I'm just like, oh man, this might be a good one from them, and then they'll hit the chorus and it just goes to shit. Like, why is that? Like, I don't get,
I don't
like, the
know.
chorus is supposed to be the best part of the song. I thought
Yeah.
so.
So,
It's kind of like, wow, he lost me. Like right when he started, like, wow, that was
yeah.
kind of. It took a 10 decibel drop, and it's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah. So like I say, we've talked about Ghost on here
like I said,
before.
they're a popular band, and there's like I
Yeah,
said, we like Metallica. Everybody don't like Metallica.
sure.
It's a personal opinion, and
Yeah.
it's fine.
But
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I just personally don't.
yeah, and it but
I don't get it, but like I
but
said, he's not playing for me. So he's playing for the
right.
people that pay to see him. So
Right, but at the same time, it's still mainstream exposure for the genre,
exactly,
and
exactly, and
I'm all
and we're all for that.
yeah, and I'm all for it.
We're not going to like every band that comes down the pipe, and we're not. I mean, that's just the way it is. So. I could probably name 5
Well,
bands
yeah,
right
just
now, and
by
somebody in the chat would be like, "Man, that band blows." It's like,
right, yeah.
so it is what it is. So
Well, well, and we've had discussions with Dana. Dana doesn't like Metallica, and that's fine.
right, right.
So no band bats 1,000, whether it be with the songs that they write or their fan base. So it's
Oh,
just
so before you get into your next story, I want to know if you ever heard the story of Mustaine taking Kerry King's guitar and smashing it during a recording session. I just heard. I had never heard that story before the other night, and I was just like, "What the hell?"
I don't know that
So it was like during the time
I don't
of.
know that I don't know.
So it was during the time of Peace Sales, and then I can't remember Slayer's big album right at the time. I guess Rain and Blood was probably the album right around that same time. But they were trying to do a collaboration with both of those guys and do like a kind of a split deal before split deals were even like a thing.
Yeah.
So they were trying to do some things like that. How to define ghosts? Yeah, I guess he's probably got a point there.
Yeah,
so.
no, yeah. Yeah. I don't think you're wrong, Peyton. I definitely don't.
But anyway, so the story was like they had a meeting with the label at the time. Hell, it may have been Metal Blade if you think about it. I don't know.
Could have been.
I couldn't remember. But they had a meeting with all the execs. It's supposed to have been at like noon or 1 or something. Everybody was there on time. Ellefson was there. All the bands for Slayer were there. 2 hours went by. Mustaine still haven't showed up. so they were just like, what the fuck? Ellison's over here apologizing. Of course, at this time, Tom Araya and Kerry King's getting pissed. They're like, fuck this, man. We got better things. We're professional. We ain't got to do this shit, He finally strolls in at like 5 o'clock, like 4 hours fucking late. And then like he's like, let's do this. And he's drunker and shit. And like they start I don't remember what happened. They started like doing some back and forth stuff, and then he got pissed. Kerry says something to him. I can't remember what he said, but he said something to him to the tone of kind of like Megadeth sucks. kind of. And Dave got pissed. So Dave marches over into the fucking like sound room where Kerry was playing, grabs his guitar and just smashes it on the fucking floor. And then fucking they had to like everybody in the damn thing had to hold Kerry King from beating his ass. So it's like I was like, Jesus Christ. So Kerry King still doesn't like the motherfucker from what I hear, but Tom Araya was talking about, hey man, shit happens, but
yeah, and
you live. He said, man, you live and you learn, and you don't work with those people again. That's what he said. So.
That's true, but I mean, hell, shit like that was probably rampant in the 80s.
Oh God, yeah.
Peyton, man, I tell you what, if the Big Four did another show, I would take out a loan and for a plane ticket and admission to the show. So I'm right there with you on that.
Oh yeah, that would be because that's an experience you're probably not going to get again.
Right.
At this point, people who've seen it before, it's like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Well, great on you, but we didn't.
Well, the only people that got to see it was in fucking Bulgaria. That's the only.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody here got to see anything. So.
Yeah. So
why they don't do it in LA, I'll never know. Like, at least in California.
That's the thing. Is pretty much all the guys in the band are in. Not all of them, of course, but
well, they're from there.
Yeah, they pretty much all got their start there. So and especially now that and who knows how long it's going to be that Slayer's going to be doing stuff now that they're kind
Right.
of back together. Now would be the best time.
Well, I don't think they're going to be doing a lot of because I mean, Kerry King's already said he's already working on the second album, so
Yeah.
this project. So I mean, they're not going to be doing anything crazy,
right? So, but I mean,
they'll go on little small treks here and there, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, Slayer is back out doing stuff.
Right.
Anthrax is going to have a new record out soon. Megadeth is going to have a new record out soon. Metallica is probably the furthest away from having another album.
Well, they're already. Kurt said they're already writing again. So
yeah, so but they're writing, but they're not recording, so they're probably the furthest away. Least, but
probably if anything, late next year. So
yeah, but at the same time, I mean now would be the not like right this minute, but I mean,
right.
If it were to come out that they'll be playing, just like hypothetical, like if it comes out that they're going to be playing the LA Municipal Coliseum or some shit in October or something, I mean, tickets would probably sell out in less than 30 minutes.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So if not quicker than
if the bots don't buy them all,
yeah. So Peyton, no, you bring up another good point. Yeah, that would absolutely be that would be a bucket list thing for sure.
Oh, for sure,
without a doubt.
Yeah. That and Vakin.
Oh yeah, God, I want to get over there so bad. All right, staying at Metal Sucks for my next one. Murphy's Law is in full force for alternative metal outfit A Killer's Confession and their ongoing tour. In addition to all the struggles that come with touring, they've had vehicle problems and their drummer Keegan King fucked off mid-tour, forcing the band to find a replacement in the form of ex-Mushroomhead percussionist Daniel Fox. News of the internal shakeup came about from a post on social media in which the band said King left the band quote-unquote on his terms. This was after their van broke down, then he had to find a temporary replacement. Talk about a pain in the ass. Quote, it's been a crazy 24 hours. Our van broke down and may not be able to get fixed, but the show must go on. We have temporary transportation and we are moving forward with the tour. That being said, Keegan has decided that he no longer wants to tour with us. He decided to leave on his terms mid-tour. Please welcome Daniel Fox on drums for AKC for the rest of the tour and here forward. Let's go. AKC is a machine. Please welcome Danny, end quote. Having a former Mushroomhead member join A Killer's Confession isn't a new phenomenon, by the way. The band's frontman is ex-Mushroomhead vocalist Waylon Rivas, while the band also features Jason J-Man Popson and Rick Stitch Thomas, both former Mushroomhead members in their own right. It'll be interesting to see how things pan out for the rest of their tour with Ventana and Eternum, which doesn't have too much longer to go with just 9 dates left. You can find the full list of dates below, which I'm not going to read because I'm pretty sure we talked about that tour on the Hit in the Road segment when it was announced. So seems kind of weird that a Killer's Confession kind of keeps going to the Mushroomhead well, and it seems to it seems to kind of work out.
Like a Mushroomhead 2.0 or something. So.
Yeah, kind of.
Just change your name to the Mushroomhead Rejects or something.
That's something, yeah.
Well, I mean, Mushroomheads had so many members. I mean, they had so many members in the band to begin with. So if you have that, that many former members on top of that, then you're quadrupling the normal band for former members. So.
Yeah, there's kind of been a revolving door in Mushroomhead. There really has.
Yeah, which like they sound okay now. I mean, I still think they were a lot heavier back when Jeffrey Nothing and all those guys were in it. So.
They absolutely were.
I do like the chick in Mushroomhead. I didn't like her band. I can't remember her band's name, but I looked it up and listened to a few things. I'm like, I didn't like her band as well as I do what she's doing with Mushroomhead, I guess. So.
Yeah. No, I totally get it.
Yeah, so. All right. My last one is over from Metal Injection. I guess we get a little background here before we get into things. Faith No More and Mr. Bungle canceled their September and October 2021 tour dates as vocalist Mike Patton dealt with an ongoing mental health issue. Those cancellations bled into 2022 with Faith No More canceling their plans for the entire year. Mr. Bungle would eventually get back on stage quite a few times, but Faith No More never recovered. Patton would later address the situation with Faith No More's other members, while Faith No More keyboardist Roddy Bottom briefly addressed the band's situation as a semi-permanent hiatus, and bassist Billy Gold said he has no idea what's going on. I'm the bassist. I'm not even in the band. And now in a new interview with Let There Be Talk, Faith No More drummer Mike Borden spoke a little more frankly about the band situation. Borden recounted what happened with the cancellations before claiming that Patton clearly doesn't want to play with Faith No More, considering he's touring with Mr. Bungle. Quote, all I can say is, and I think I do what want this to be on the record actually, because we don't promote ourselves, we don't talk about ourselves, and that's really been our detriment. But we've been rehearsing for 6 months for these dates in September and October of 21. We've been rehearsing instrumentally, and we incredibly sounded phenomenal. I mean, the bass player said, I've never heard a sound this good. This is how these songs sounded in my mind, and we've never gotten that on an album live or whatever. I mean, we were ready, we were prepared, and it came to pass that when the gear was in the truck, when it was rolling to Chicago 36 hours before we were supposed to be on stage, and our guy Mike Patton doesn't show for the rehearsal. The one rehearsal that we're going to do,
Yeah.
and we go to go see him and see what's going on. What the hell's going on here? Our gear's rolling already to the gig, and it was very clear that he was unable at that point to physically do it. We made the decision that look, we've got to support our guy. It's going to be a shitstorm canceling fucking 75 shows, but none of us want to be the guy that breaks his back and forces him to do something that he's not in a position to be able to do. It wasn't even an argument. The only argument was how the fuck do we logistically do this, because we have to. I mean, we did support him in our way, and whether that's perceived or not is beyond, I can't control it. So we pull these shows and we just wait and see. Hopefully things are better, and try to find out what we can try to find out what we can around the edges. I get it. Okay, I got it now. But ultimately, Patton started booking shows with Mr. Bungle, and that's continued to this day. So it's my take, my position, my statement on it is that he's gone from being unable to do the shows to clearly being unwilling to do shows with us, and that's heavy. That's a big difference. And we haven't really had much dialogue on it. End quote. Borden later noted that he's grateful for Patton and everyone else who's ever been in Faith No More, but realizes he can't forcefully make something happen. Am I grateful for the time with Mike Patton? Yeah, because my life would be very different without it, but I can't force him to do something that he, from where I'm sitting, doesn't seem to want to do. That's all I can say, and I don't want to be controversial. I'm not looking for a fucking headline. I'm really not. I'm just trying to tell you sort of what it looks like here from my end. So, there you go. So, Mike Patton looks like he just pretty much like, yeah, I'm done with that. I just want to do Mr. Bungle shit. So, I mean, if that's what you want to do, just say it, though. I mean,
right, exactly.
Don't leave the band in the dark about shit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, be an adult about it and be like, look, man, I just this thing has run its course for me. So, I mean, if you're upfront and transparent about it, I'm sure they'll be like, "Man, that's cool." I mean, all we wanted to know what was going on. I mean, everyone would rather know, even if it's something negative, than jump to conclusions because they have no indication of what's going on.
It seems to me like a lot of it may be mental to him. And maybe a lot of his mental stuff's coming from the Faith No More tours and stuff instead of the Mr. Bungle stuff. So I mean,
true.
If that's the case, but like I said, if that's the case, you need to say something. Don't just create a tiff in between you and the other band members. That's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, you don't want that. I remember. Excuse me. I remember talking about the initial story back in 2021. Yeah. I remember talking about that.
Yeah, which is crazy because we're sitting there remembering stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But it's a good thing though because we're still around.
Well, that's true.
All right. Yeah. All right. Going over to the PRP for my next one. This one is kind of cool. This one's relatively long, but I'll try to get through it. Okay. Fit for an Autopsy guitarist Pat Sheridan has signed on with a new Sight for Sound initiative launched by Nevin Eyewear that seeks to provide eyewear for touring musicians and road crew. The following press release was issued on April 15th to outline that program. Quote, touring is a grind, long drives, little sleep, and grueling schedules. For many musicians and crew, it also means no health care and no vision coverage. That's why independent Nevin Eyewear has launched Sight for Sound, a new initiative providing free glasses, prescription, non-prescription eyeglasses or sunglasses from their collection of 66 different frame styles and 6 different lens colors to U.S.-based touring musicians and crew. No catch, no red tape, just support from people who've lived it. If you're a U.S.-based touring or music industry professional and work on 75-plus shows per year, you're eligible. Just head to nevineyewear.com, choose the pair you want, then submit your request via the simple form here. Obviously, there's a hyperlink in the story. Right. Once approved, you'll receive your free pair shipped with no strings, no red tape, and zero hassle. Those who meet the criteria but are not U.S.-based can apply for non-prescription glasses or sunglasses but are not eligible for prescription glasses at this time. The program is created by company founder Jonathan Strauss and Pat Sheridan, one of the founding members and guitarist for Fit for an Autopsy and Nevin's director of partnerships. Born out of the passion and authenticity of the NJHC scene, Nevin isn't a corporate eyewear brand playing dress-up in band shirts. It was built by lifers for lifers. Strauss and Sheridan grew up in the scene, attending shows and playing in their respective bands, whilst everyone around them hustled to make their dreams a reality with no access to healthcare. Sight for Sound is their way of giving back. A lot of people think musicians or people in the industry are living the dream, but what they don't see is the reality behind the scenes: no healthcare, no safety net. And when the tour ends, the realities of life kick in fast. Says Strauss, quote, we started Sight for Sound because we wanted to change that, even in a small way. This is the least we can do to support a community that often gets overlooked once the lights go down. Our Sight for Sound program is life-changing for musicians and crew members. I've been in the extreme music scene since the 90s, and vision has never been addressed before. Musicians aren't offered a 401k, health insurance, or vision benefits. It's an honor to save music industry professionals thousands of dollars per year. Nevin Eyewear prescriptions are fulfilled in partnership with Robertson Optical Laboratories, the largest independent optical wholesaler in the U.S., and every pair is covered by Nevin's Everlast guarantee. If they're lost, broken, or stolen, they'll be replaced, no questions asked. Nevin Eyewear embodies the same passion, determination, and DIY ethos as the culture that has shaped its founder. Strauss started the brand with his wife in the bedroom that would become their daughter's nursery, hand-picking orders. Since then, Nevin has grown to a $30 million a year brand, shipping millions of pairs of glasses whilst always staying true to its core. Make durable, affordable, and good-looking eyewear for real people. Their frames are inspired by life on the road. Look closely and you'll find the brand's signature 3 teal days etched into every pair, symbolizing air, land, and sea wherever the road takes you. Metal fans can smell bullshit from a mile away, says Strauss. Nevin doesn't fake it. We're not some polished corporate eyewear brand trying to be edgy. We're real people who built this brand from the ground up with grit, heart, and a DIY mentality that mirrors the energy of the scene. End quote. With artist collaborations from names like Zach Johnson from The Ghost Inside, Tanner Wayne from In Flames, Gary Holt of Exodus and Slayer, Tony Foresta from Municipal Waste, and Phil Sagrasso from Seosin, Nevin is already a trusted name in the heavy music world. Sight for Sound is their next step in building something even bigger and giving back to the community that shaped them. That when I saw that story, I was like, that is cool as shit.
It is cool, yeah. That's awesome.
That is cool as hell. I like that.
Have you? Is that your last story? Or you got another one?
I have one more.
Okay, go ahead. Now, that was my last one. So
okay, all right. This one, this one's kind of interesting and funny at the same time. Back over to Metal Injection for this one. Sometimes a guitar you ordered gets lost in the mail. Oh, yeah. Other times it gets accidentally delivered to Jim Root of Slipknot, despite the fact that you are currently located in Qatar. Shit happens, right? In a now deleted Reddit post, originally captured by Music Radar, someone who works on the U.S. Air Base in Qatar ordered themselves a brand new Jack's guitar from Sweetwater. 3 weeks later, and the person received an empty case with no guitar, prompting the person to reach out to Sweetwater to see what was happening. This is where things get weird. Quote, I contacted my sales rep and I got a semi-canned response. Sorry for the confusion and inconvenience with the added checking with the warehouse and shipping departments to try to figure out where the guitar is, wrote the person. Now I am impatiently awaiting a tracking number or word of where the guitar is. Unfortunately, the USPS tracking number provided went dead and the guitar seemed lost until it wasn't. all hope was lost in recovering it, and I was waiting for another one to get in stock. I know, right? When my sales engineer emailed me this, read a follow-up post with a screenshot of an email that read, quote, "Hey, name redacted. You might laugh a little. For some reason, the post office shipped your guitar to Jim Root of Slipknot. We are working on the solution now," end quote. No word on if the person got their guitar, hopefully signed by Root. But I think the bigger question here is how the hell did this get to Jim Root? Mysteries abound, and hopefully we'll get some resolution, or that person at least gets their guitar. So I'm kind of hoping at some point there might be a little bit of a follow up to this, because I would actually like to know what Jim Root's perspective was on this and kind of how he handled it. Maybe he was able to get in contact with the guy who ordered it, and like I say, maybe they were able to.
The way to fix it is him hand deliver
it. See, there you go. That would be cool.
Yeah, but it was on a military base, right?
Yeah, the guy is stationed over in.
Yeah, they could pull that off. Get Jim out there.
Yeah,
and hand deliver.
So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. So, and like, it's like with my shipping and receiving background that I kind of have. I mean, I've never done that.
So where is Jim? What city is he in? Do you know?
I don't. I mean, I know the band. I know the. Well, I know they're from Iowa, so I don't know.
I just wondered if it was something where the city and country could have got mixed up by a couple letters or something. Or
I don't see how. So I mean, it's very because that's the thing.
You go by like a zip code anyway, right?
Yeah, you do. You do. Go by, so. Yeah, so it's strange because I mean they shipped the case without the guitar to the guy who ordered the guitar, and then the guitar ended up in the hands of Jim Root. So how did they ship the guitar itself if it wasn't in the case that it was supposed to be? So I've got questions galore about this.
Yeah,
so it's very strange. So it's kind of a weird situation when I read it, and I got a kick out of it. It was funny story to read. So hopefully there will be some sort of follow up as to how it all gets.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he got his guitar.
But I hope he gets the one he ordered. So
yeah, it would be cool if at least Jim signed it. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I would hope that he would be, that kind of guy who did something like that, especially for a military. Like I said, if it was military and it would be certain bands, certain bands would be like, "Hey, well, I'll take it over there," because certain bands that we talk about, big military people, so they would be like, "Oh, hell, I'll take it over there."
Yeah. But that was my last story.
All right, so I just got a few headlines here to knock out here, so
cool.
That out of the way. System of a Down's Shavo Odajan says, "I never knocked out Brent Hines." I guess there was like a story going around where he had knocked out Brent Hines of Mastodon at some point, but he said it never happened. So, I mean, who knows? Cocaine's a hell of a drug. So,
that's true.
Violence frontman Sean Killian wants to experiment more on their next record.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there you go. That's what he wants to do. So.
Maybe a song or two. Don't do the
whole record. Yeah,
don't do the whole album.
Timu Manasari reveals that Megadeth was one of his first bands that got him into metal. So being able to play for him, I guess, is probably pretty wild.
Yeah, dream come true, probably.
Yeah, right. Tesseract is holding a VIP event for 60 fans to attend the premiere of their new live film Radar. So Tesseract fans, that'd be cool for a fan. So check this one out. Converge have the drums for 17 new songs tracked for their upcoming album.
God.
Yes. So, needless to say, I don't know if that's the number that they're going to get or if they're going to trim it down. I don't know. That's kind of wild. But 17 new songs. I mean, they're definitely going to have some pickings if they don't do 17.
Sure.
So, this one's kind of funny. Fozzie's new single, Fall in Line, is about as good as Chris Jericho's wrestling these days. It's not. So. Oh, my God. That's pretty funny. And actually, that single is pretty horrible. So.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard it yet.
It's not that good.
No,
it definitely went in the wrong direction. So.
Oh, well.
I hope, like I said, he stepped out of if he stepped out of wrestling to do that, he probably should have stayed wrestling.
Yeah, just go back. Yeah,
just go back. Even though evidently you weren't good at that either, according to this guy. But I don't see your 55-year-old ass in there doing it. So
That's 100% true. Yeah.
my 45-year-old ass ain't doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
Judas Priest Scott Travis says playing Ripper era songs is not something Rob wants to do. Which we kind of elaborated on this many times on the show. We don't know why, but
I actually,
maybe because he can't perform them. I don't know.
I actually read that story. I read the
Oh,
story.
did you read the whole story?
I read the story, and it's not. It's according to Rob, because Rob was quoted in the story. According to Rob, it's not that he wouldn't. It's just that supposedly it's something that gets talked about, and apparently the timing hasn't been right for one reason or another. Like I say,
Okay.
I don't know if Rob is just trying to be diplomatic and maybe kind of trying
Eh.
to sidestep the issue a little, but in the story he said that it's not that he wouldn't do it or is opposed to it, or that it may happen at some point, because he said at some point at the right time he would be willing to do it, and it would be
Okay.
magical, and it would be magical. So
I
it's not that he said he won't, just
mhm.
it's just hasn't happened yet for
Well,
whatever reason. So
this is my thing is if he doesn't have a problem with Tim, I think he should bring Tim on and some of the songs with him. That'd be
yeah,
pretty awesome. That'd be fucking amazing.
oh, it would be
Um,
fantastic.
yeah, because I don't think Ripper has any hard feelings toward the guy. I
Yeah.
mean,
So I read the story because I wanted clarification on it, because
yeah,
I'm kind of like you. I thought it was just because he's like, fuck that guy.
right.
I'm not singing his shit. But apparently that's not the case. So
No.
that's good to know.
Well, the more I thought about it too, is like, well, maybe Rob can't sing those songs that he did.
Maybe,
To the extreme that he to satisfy the fans. I mean,
maybe,
because those songs were. I mean, to hear Ripper hit some of those notes, I was even surprised.
yeah,
At his age, it's kind of
yep,
like, damn, I can't believe he can still hit those.
mm-hmm,
But another thing too is I've seen a lot of comments talking about, well, they only play like Burning Hell. Or I said, well, that may be the only one he gets writing credits for. So I mean,
probably
he can only play what he's got writing credits for.
that's true.
He can't play every Judas Priest song that was on the two albums because some of the
Yep,
other band members, Glenn Tipton may have you know, writing credits on there. Anything
that's true.
KK and him did together, they can do. But other
Absolutely.
than other, other than that, I mean, they can't really do anything. So,
And that's why KK's priest played "Breaking the Law" when we saw
yep,
him, because KK
KK
Downing,
wrote the song.
that was his song back from Judas Priest, so that's why I was able to play that.
Yep, it was good.
There's and people. That's the thing, is people don't realize it's like, just because you were part of the band at the time. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes into it. It's like, oh, well, he was on the album. Well, that doesn't
Mhm.
mean. I mean, just because he was singing the song doesn't mean he
So
wrote it. Doesn't mean it was
right.
his song. So there's a lot of shit that goes into it.
So we just made it. We just talked about this a while back, and it's a prime example. Sebastian Bach has all these songs from Skid Row that he can't
Hmm.
release because other people in the band had you know had Rachel Bolan and all them had writing credits on it. So
Yep.
he can't just release it because they have credits on it.
Hmm.
They have to be like, okay, let's release it. They all have to be in conjunction together,
Yep.
or you're looking at legalities if you don't.
Oh yeah.
So
And with the acrimony between those guys, I mean, that
oh,
would be
they'd
a
be
loss.
quick. They'd be quick.
That'd be a lawsuit in a heartbeat.
They
So,
even got wind that it was coming out. I don't even know if it's out yet, but we hired a lawyer.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so carrying on. Napalm Death's Barney Greenway was sick at a recent show, so they had to play without him. Good, cool thing is one fan got to get on stage and sing a song with her. So
I saw that.
that's pretty wild. So lucky fan. So
Yeah.
uh, Category 7 is going to play their first show in Los Angeles coming up soon. I don't know
June
if you got
30th.
I don't know if you got that in the thing or if we already talked about it. I can't remember. So
We haven't, and I do.
okay, all right, there you go. So prelude there.
That's right. Yeah.
Guar have a new check this out. Guar have a new EP and comic book coming out. So I don't know if that's coming out as a set thing or if it's separated or what. But that'd be pretty interesting.
I'd be willing to bet that they probably will be released simultaneously, but I haven't gotten confirmation on that for sure.
That would be a good little package to buy. I mean,
Yeah, it would.
I don't think I've ever done that before. That'd be cool. To,
Yeah, it would.
I'm a collector, so
Oh yeah.
That's my retirement. That's all the shit I collected. Children of Bodoms to release a career retrospective book this summer. That'd be pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
And then ex-Tesla guitarist Tommy Skiach recruited for a new project with Brian Wheat and Chris Holmes. That ought to be interesting. I always his name always tripped me out. Skiach, just like saying biatch.
I know. Yeah, it's true.
I wonder if they ever did that to him. Oh, Skiach the biatch.
I don't know, but you've put it out in the universe.
I done started it. I done started something now. He's gonna be having me flagged with lawsuits. So. I want the $17 in your bank account, son.
Yeah, good luck.
And then last but not least, Van Halen's Jump exceeded 1 billion streams on Spotify. Congratulations on that $1,700 check. So
yeah.
I know we joke about that, but
don't spend it. Hang on a second. What's the payout on Spotify again?
I think it's like 0.007.
Okay, hang on.
If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to revert unless they changed it. If they did, they probably went the other way with it. They probably didn't go up.
Well, 1 billion streams on Spotify times 0.0007 is $700,000.
Yeah. So still, I think it's 007.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
You got me want to look it up now. So.
Well, if it's 0.007, that's $7 million.
So that's not too shabby then, I guess.
No. A billion streams at 7/100. Well, tenths, hundreds, yeah. At tenths place, 100, yeah. 7/1000ths of a cent times 1 billion streams is $7 million.
Oh, it's actually, it says, this says 0.0032 to 0.005, depending on the
0.0032?
2005. It's between 003 and 005.
Oh. Well,
yeah, it means an artist could earn anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 for every million streams. So
that's terrible.
That's ridiculous, dude.
So, well, I mean, if it's 0.03, that's $3 million for a billion streams.
You got to think about it too. They didn't get that all at once because they send that shit up like on a quarterly basis or something. So
yeah, they definitely piecemeal it, sure, but yeah.
But still, I mean, that's good on them for.
Yeah, I mean, a billion streams is still a huge benchmark. Mm-hmm. So congratulations to them for that.
I don't know if I was wondering if Peyton was still on here, but we got to talking about Rocket Pod. Hold on just a second. I wanted to since we didn't really do a show and tell. I didn't really tell Chris that we were going to do a show and tell, but we were talking about Rocket Pod, so I wanted to kind of show. This is the Ricky Ratman signed poster from his 1 Foot in the Gutter. I actually got that at the Rocket Pod 2 years ago. So
nice.
Me and my wife both got one. So
very cool.
So it's pretty cool. So. Yeah. Just wanted to share that since we were talking about Rocket Pod. I kind of looked up at it when you said it. I was like, oh, there's a show and tell for Rocket Pod.
Yeah.
So that kind of gets me ahead of you, a little bit since
that's true.
You claim I got more stuff than you. So.
You do have more stuff than I do. You do.
Man, let's see. All right, that will lead us into hitting the road, and I only have one, and I'm pretty sure. You probably know which one it is. It's kind of the biggest one that I've seen this week. So,
sure,
it was the Judas Priest, Alice Cooper, and Corrosion of Conformity. They announced a North American tour starting September 16th in Biloxi, Mississippi, at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum, and ending in October 26th, Houston, Texas, at the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. They are going to be in Franklin, Tennessee, which is right in between here in Nashville, where we live, on September 21st at the First Bank Amphitheater. Unfortunately, it's like, 2-3 days after Louder Than Life, so I'm kind of like,
3 days.
I'm kind of like, hell, I can't go to this shit. Man.
3 days.
It sucks, dude. Like, I was like, but, Slayer or Priest. Slayer or Priest.
Yeah.
Gotta weigh it out. So.
You absolutely do. And
is
the messed
there
up.
is there a chance Priest comes back around? Yes. Is there a chance Slayer gets closer to here? Probably not. So.
Probably not. Yeah. Well, the messed up thing is September 8th down in Alabama is the Pantera and Amon Amarth show. So
that's right.
So September is just ridiculous.
I always hate that, dude, because it seems like they always plan the good shows like right around the same time
in a big cluster.
Yeah. And I think it's mainly because they don't like touring real late in the year because.
I understand that.
A lot of you can't do a lot of you kind of like limited on venues too because they have to be all indoor at some point,
Yep.
Because you can't be like most of the ones I just mentioned are outdoor venues. So
yeah,
you can't do a big outdoor show if you're going to be in the middle of winter. So
right.
I guess you can. You probably won't have a lot of people there.
Right. Yeah. 100% true. All right, for hitting the road this week for the 11th through the 18th, starting over. Well, actually, everything I have this week is at the PRP, which is strange.
Oh, nice.
Leading off this week, we have the Browning, Swarm, and the Defect have some U.S. dates scheduled. The first show is actually tonight in Lubbock, Texas, at Lowbrow Place, finishing May 4th in Knoxville, Tennessee, at Open Court, and that is the only Tennessee date. Victims.
You say it ended there?
It ended there. Yep.
Oh, that makes sense because I know at least two of the guys from Browning live in Nashville now. So
yeah, so
which that's another thing we talk about.
Right.
All these bands moving to Nashville.
I know. And then we have Victims, Crystal Lake, Not Enough Space, and Face Yourself with some U.S. dates of their own, starting July 4th in Brooklyn, New York at the Monarch, finishing July 20th in Mansfield, Ohio at the Incarceration Festival. That's Crystal Lake only. The story so far, Neck Deep, Origami Angel, and Pain of Truth are going out this fall around the United States, starting September 9th in St. Paul, Minnesota at Myth Live, finishing October 11th in Santa Ana, California at the Observatory Festival Grounds. They will be in Pelham, Tennessee at the Caverns on September 20th. So
who is that?
The story so far, Neck Deep, Origami Angel, and Pain of Truth.
I still want to see a show there.
I was just about to say the same thing. I've been there before, just for the cave tour, so I know what the venue looks like. So I think it would be a cool place to see a show.
Yeah.
It'd
definitely be something to experience for sure.
Absolutely. So. Then Touche Amore and Military Gun have an Australian tour scheduled, starting July 10th in Brisbane at the Triffid, finishing July 19th in Perth at Linett's Lounge. Ingested has announced their first ever headlining shows in Australia, July 24th in Melbourne at Max Watts, July 25th in Sydney at Crowbar, and July 26th in Brisbane at Cold Day Festival. Miss May I, Gideon, Soulkeeper, and Dreamwake are going on a North American tour. Starting June 13th in Scranton, Pennsylvania at the Ritz. And the wording of this is very, very strange. It's Miss May I only, but featuring Memphis Mayfire, The Word Alive, and etc. And I don't know what the hell etc. means. That's just the way it was listed on the website. So your guess is as good as mine.
I think there's actually a band name etc. If I'm not mistaken.
I wouldn't doubt it. And then the tour finishes June 28th in Indianapolis, Indiana at the Hi-Fi Annex. Category 7 is going on a South American tour after their June 30th show in West Hollywood, California at the Whiskey A Go-Go, starting July 3rd in Buenos Aires, Argentina at the Mar del Plata, finishing July 10th in Recoleta, Argentina at the Sala Metronomo. Age of Apocalypse, Balmora, and Cross of Disbelief are going to Europe and to the UK, starting September 17th in Glasgow, Scotland at Audio, finishing September 28th in Erfurt, Germany at AJZ. Wormrot has got a large list of 2025 dates. Nomas, Bandit, Violencia, Oxygen Destroyer, Bleach Drinker, and Pig Destroyer are going to be making appearances on select legs of the tour. The tour actually started 2 nights ago in Raleigh, North Carolina at Chapel of Bones and finishes November 8th and 9th in Manchester, England at the Damnation Festival. They are going to be going...
That's a world tour right there, man.
They're going to be going all over the place this year.
That's a real world tour right there.
Yeah, 7 months, damn near. Speed, Whispers, and Feel the Pain are going on an Australian tour starting July 16th in Brisbane at Valley Loft, finishing August 3rd in Perth at They. Avenged Sevenfold has announced a European tour with Palais Royale, Ignite, and 7 Hours After Violet appearing at select dates. Starting June 4th in Istanbul, Turkey at Life Park featuring Palais Royale, finishing June 28th in Rättvik, Sweden at Dalhalla featuring Ignite. Hatebreed has announced the second leg of their European tour starting July 31st in La Garrigue, France at Extreme Fest, finishing August 16th in Lindau, Germany at Club Vaudeville. Korn, Gojira, and Loathe have announced a Canadian tour starting September 17th in Ottawa, Ontario at the Canadian Tire Centre, finishing October 1st in Vancouver, British Columbia at the Rogers Arena. Oranssi Pazuzu has announced a European tour with no word yet on any openers. The tour actually began last night in Tilburg, Netherlands at the Roadburn Festival and doesn't end until August 14th in Bor, Norway at Midgardsblot.
Wow.
Alpha Wolf, Malevolence, and Zuko are going on an Australian tour with Diamond Construct, Inertia, Deficit, and Melting opening. And Melting is the name of the band. Opening on Rotating Legs. I read that totally wrong. Yeah. Starting May 1st in Cairns at Edge Hill Tavern, finishing June 1st in Nar Warren at District 14.
Oh, I wish they put like a word in between there or something like "will be opening" or something.
Right. Well, I could have. That's actually how I typed it up, so it's really on me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Better Lovers, 68, and Greyhaven are going to Europe and to the UK starting September 24th in Antwerp, Belgium at Zappa, finishing October 29th in Dublin, Ireland at Opium. The Word Alive, The Funeral Portrait, and Melrose Avenue have announced some Ice Nine Kills tour off dates. Starting May 21st in Lakewood, Ohio at the Roxy at Mahal's. The Funeral Portrait won't be at that particular show, but the tour finishes June 10th in Birmingham, Alabama at Saturn. And last but not least, Bleeding Through has announced a trio of new headlining shows. May 30th in Las Vegas at Fremont Country Club, May 31st in Salt Lake City, Utah at Church and State, and June 1st in Denver, Colorado at HQ Denver. So quick and easy, that's hitting the road for the 11th through the 18th.
Cool.
Yeah.
I thought Ice Nine just had like some kind of new thing came out. I don't know if it was like a short or something. Or,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I seen it a few days ago. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it's Pretty Evil. That's what it was. It's a collection of the. He did a. Remember we was talking about the makeup thing that he was.
Oh yeah.
So he actually did a damn. He actually incorporated that into a like a short, like I guess like a. I don't know what to call it. I guess like a scene. I guess to fit in with everything that he's been doing with videos. So it's kind of like they had like detectives and stuff in there looking at dead bodies, and it's like, oh, you can't even tell where he cut it because of this eyeshadow. It's like what? Like so cool that he does. Like he incorporates that horror theme with everything he does, dude. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was actually you have to watch it. It's on YouTube.
I'll check it out.
It came out a couple weeks ago, like right when we were talking about the announcement of the products and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was still talking about him being a killer and can't find him and all this other. I was like, oh, what the hell, dude? This is so crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was actually pretty cool. I'm going to share this real quick. Come on, there you go. So this is the current playlist for the new music that came out this week. This is kind of our little version of that. We throw in together some 30 some odd songs together and throw it up there for you guys. So we try to pick out. We don't try not to be one dimensional. So that's kind of why I listen to a lot of stuff and then I throw some of the stuff that I like better on there. So there's like a little bit of there's symphonic, there's death, there's a little bit of thing for everybody on there. So if you guys want to check that out, there's the link. Feel free to do so. If you don't want to click a link, which I know it's not hyperlinked, so it's kind of hard, but there you can see the little emblem right here underneath me. You can look for that on Spotify, and all of our content is under that little emblem. Type in Metalheads Unite under playlist, all that comes up, and our weekly playlists or our themes come up, and our weekly playlists come up there. Anything Metalheads Unite, she's usually going to have that little emblem there in the corner there. I haven't changed that, even though I have changed our background. So I kind of wanted to keep that as a norm because if I start changing stuff, people won't know where to find us. So,
yeah, we don't. We don't want people to lose touch with us.
No, we want to keep the same thing that we have on all of our socials, so people can find us easily. Uh, so that is that, and that will lead us into our next segment, which is the theme of the week, which we pick a theme and then we kind of pick out some songs that go with the theme. So I don't know. I don't know if you had any. I mean, this one was kind of difficult for me. So.
Yeah, I had a little trouble with this one.
Yeah, so it may not be as lengthy as some of the other ones we've had in the past. So.
I don't think it's going to be, but
so.
But that's okay because I mean, we kind of need a little bit of a challenge sometimes.
Well, yeah, it was definitely challenging, that's for sure. So
yeah.
So I kick off my side of the thing. I got the want side of things, so I'll kick it off. My first one was Bullet from a Valentine. You Want a Battle, Here's a War from Venom 2015. I got Nothing More, Do You Really Want It from The Stories We Tell Ourselves 2017. A Day to Remember, All I Want from What Separates Me from You 2010. Children of Bottom, If You Want Peace, Prepare for War. That comes from the album Are You Dead Yet from 2005. Wasp, I Want to Be Somebody. I kind of did the wanna in there instead of want, but same thing.
It's slang, but yeah.
Right, there you go. It's from the album Wasp, 1984. Then I went with Ozzy, I Don't Want to Change the World from No More Tears, 1991. Disturbed, Want from The Sickness, 2000. Halloween, I Want Out from Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 2, 1988. I mean, it's so funny. Like, this may be one of the more diverse playlists from years. It's so crazy. Like, I'm all over the place with I'm from like 80s to 90s to 2000s. I think I even got something in here from like a year or so ago, maybe. So
nice.
So anyway, carry it on. Next one I had was Avatar, The King Wants You from Avatar Country 2018. I got State of Mind, Take What You Want from Seeing Red 2020. Rat, Wanted Man from Out of the Cellar 1984. I went with Doro, I Want More from Calling the Wild 2013. Eradicator, I Want to Believe from Obscura 2019. Hammer King, I Want Chaos from Koenig and Kaiser 2000. Koenig und Kaiser 2024. My German's horrible. Heaven's Gate, We Want It All from Living in Hysteria 2003. UDO, They Want War from Animal House 1987. It's just crazy saying UDO in 1987 as much as we follow him. I keep thinking he was an Accept during those years for some reason. It's crazy. Then with Insight, I Want It All from Oppression 2016. Speaking of Insight, we got new music from them coming.
Yeah, we do.
And we've already listened to it. So, AC/DC, If You Want Blood, You Got It from Highway to Hell 1979. See, I told you, I'm even back in the 70s now.
Yeah.
Miss May I, You Want Me from Rise of the Lion 2015. Asking Alexandria, They Don't Want What We Want. That's from the album Like a House on Fire 2020. And then last but not least, I had Sacred Fire, Fear Not, Want Not from Slave to Structure 2018.
So how many did you end up with? I lost count.
I think 20.
Okay. That's you had more than I had.
21.
Okay. Because I'll admit it took me everything I had to get to 15. So yeah, this one was a little bit of, this one took a little bit of work. So I had the need side, of course, leading off with The World Needs a Hero by Megadeth off the World Needs a Hero album from 2001. Then I had World Needs Mosh by Chrysix off the Pizza EP from 2021. Then I had By Any Means Necessary. Obviously, if it's necessary, you need it. Yep. By Hammerfall off No Sacrifice, No Victory from 2009. Then I went with No Further Action is Required. Obviously, then if it's required, you need it. By Our Friends in Hell of Eight off the Purpose is Cruelty EP from 2023. Then I had a fun one, I Need Your Clothes, Your Boots, and Your Motorcycle by Austrian Death Machine off of Double Brutal from 2009. That's Tim Lambesis' side project. Then I went with Need for Speed.
Maybe his own project.
It actually might. Then I went with Need for Speed by Saxon off the Inner Sanctum from 2007. Then I had Need Money for Beer by Tankard off of B-Day off 2002. Then I went with Nem Kell, which translates to "don't need" in Hungarian, by Ectomorph, off of Kalyi Jag from 2000. Ectomorph is from Hungary, so
Right.
yeah, they did some of their earlier stuff in their native tongue, which I don't blame them. So yeah, we got a little bit of foreign flavor there going on. All We Need Is Blood by Powerwolf, off Blood of the Saints from 2011. Till I Get What I Need by Striper, off of Fallen from 2015. Don't Need a Hero by Ed Guy, off of Hellfire Club from 2004. You I Need, from Amorphous, off The Beginning of Times from 2011. A Perpetual Need by Crowbar, off Time Heals Nothing from 1995. Don't Need Religion from Motorhead, off of Iron Fist from 1982. And lastly, I Don't Need No Doctor from Wasp, which is a Ray Charles cover of all things,
Yeah.
off of Inside the Electric Circus from 1986. So,
Wasp getting some love this week.
yeah,
So,
yeah, both lists, both
yeah,
sides.
that doesn't happen very often. So,
No, it doesn't.
good deals.
Yep.
All right. And I guess that will take us into the finale here. So,
Album reviews.
album review time. Yeah. So, um, I I went with the album by a band called Sick and Beautiful, and I do not know how to pronounce one of the words. It's Hara Vakui, I guess. I don't know. Vacui. I don't know how they pronounce that. So uh, it's they're an Italian band, so who knows? But that's the name of the album. The band was formed in 2014, and like I said, they are from Rome, Italy. So current members are, and they only give first names and or I guess like stage name type things here. So that's not really their real names, I don't guess, but that's all they I can dig up. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Current members are Herma on vocals, Big Daddy Ray on bass,
Big Daddy Ray.
Big Daddy Ray, yeah. Ave on drums, Lore One. So it's L0R and then the number one. So I'm not sure how that. I don't know if it's supposed to be Lori or Lauren. I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, they're on guitar, and then Nimbus is on guitar. So dual threat guitar there. So
Nice.
So this is the band's fourth full length release, and actually, kind of when I was looking through here, I actually had put a track from one of their older albums on one of our playlists before, and didn't even know it. So
nice.
So I guess it was probably one of the new playlists when they came out in 21. I'm not sure, but
probably
that's when their previous album was out in 21, I think. So. So anyway, 11 tracks. It's 46 minutes and 26 seconds in length. I will say this: this is a very unique blend of metal and hard rock. So it's, I mean, I think if there's a genre of metal or rock out there, I think they probably played with it. I'm just serious. Like I heard like one song, and I said, "Damn, that sounds a little symphonic," and then heard another song that had like some techno in it. It's like it had a little bit of everything in here. And when I heard some of this, I was like, "Man, I'm gonna hate this," and then I didn't. So I was kind of surprised that I didn't, with it being had some of the stuff in there I'm not usually attracted to. But um, anyway, they are influenced by horror, sci-fi, and occult topics. So there's the inspirations there. So
Nice.
Kind of up our alley with Ice Nine and other horror bands we follow.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
and I think vocally, Herma has it all. She can hit the highs and hold them. There's like a couple where she softly whispers verses, which is really good. And then she can dig deep for those gutturals too. So I mean, it's kind of like, man, I don't know if there's anything she can't do. It's like, it's pretty good. No matter what it is, she has the perfect tone for it. I think she definitely can, like I said, get down there in the growl. She can, sing clean. She can whisper. She can scream. She can whatever the song kind of like called for. She was able to hit whatever, dude. It was pretty amazing to hear. Honestly, it's usually you hear some stuff and it's kind of like you expect some things, especially when bands like we go into this thing not knowing a lot of these bands, so it's kind of like it's a lot of surprise to us to hear. Somebody be as diverse as they are. So So guitars on this are powerful. The pauses, like how a lot of songs you'll hear have a pause and they'll go, kick right back in.
Yeah.
They had a lot of that in here throughout. Not a lot, but I'm just saying they have some of that throughout here. So it shows the guitar talent, of being able to stop and then replay, like pretty cool. Then of course the drumming's great, but going back to the pauses, they have that little kick drum that taps kind of
Sure.
getting ready to kick back in. So it's actually all that's incorporated really well, I think. So whoever produced this did a really good job, I think. So, and like talking about going from 0 to 100, man, they do that. They do that several times with the little stops and goes, man. It's crazy. But some great guitar solos too. So you'll probably really like that. So
nice.
So really good listen. I'm gonna give it 4 horns, man. It's pretty good albums.
Nice. More quality music from Italy.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. It seems like we were just talking about this earlier. It's like, not to give nothing away, but we're in conversation with a band now that's actually from over there. It's about coming on the show. So I was just like, man, Italy is just all of a sudden just popping.
An underrated part of Europe, though.
It is, yeah. Very well is. Especially from some of the bands we've already talked to. So
exactly, yeah. All right. My album review was the new LP Adapting Crawling by Iron Lung. Information was sparse about this duo. It's actually just 2 guys.
Yeah.
They are a power violence / grindcore duo formed in Las Vegas in 1999, consisting of Jensen Ward, who's the drummer and the vocalist, from what I can tell, and John Cortland on guitars. I believe, if I remember correctly from what I read, this might be their 6th album. This new album is 18 songs, 20 minutes and 48 seconds.
Oh wow, a lot of little stuff. Huh?
Yeah. So it's either one of the shortest LPs you'll ever listen to, or one of the longest singles you'll ever listen to. Mm-hmm. The reason why I say that is because the damn thing sounds the same almost all the way through.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously if you took the time to like analyze each song on a note by note basis, the time signature changes and shit like that, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I listened to it twice today, once on the way to work, once on the way home. Now, the problem is my commute in the afternoon because of traffic is longer than the commute up there, which means I have to pay a little more attention than I would on the way up because traffic's a little lighter. So I actually lost track of where I was in the album on the way home. And I know that when you're listening to Spotify, if you get to the end of an LP, what happens is if you just keep listening, a lot of times it'll play other music by the same band off of other albums. Yeah. I lost track of where I was in the new album. And before I realized it, they were playing other songs by the same group from another album, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, it's basically the same song structure, the same vocal style, guitar. Obviously there's no guitar solos when the songs are that short. Right. The transitions from one song to the next, sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't. I mean, there's really no guitar riffs. I know that sounds weird, but I mean, it's basically just kind of like 2 chords. It's almost like punk rock where they take 2 chords and they just alternate the 2 chords.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the same drum line all the way through the song. So, I mean, like I say, a lot of similar vocal structure, guitar structure, drum structure, overall musical composition, played for like 21 minutes. And diversity is definitely not a strong suit of this album. I mean, it's heavy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's still heavy. And the reason why it is heavy is the only reason why I'm going to give it 3 horns out of 5. But I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not much to it, really. I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a quick listen, which was good, but yeah, not a whole lot of. I mean, it just, like I say, it all sounded the same to me. It literally all ran together on my way home, and I don't even know how many extra songs I heard from another album. I don't know where I don't. I lost track of time.
Well, I mean,
And
I'm looking at it now, and like there's like a 19-second monologue. So I mean, that's not even a track if you think about it. I mean,
yeah, so
there's like a 3 minute 36-second song on here though.
yeah. So
There's most of it's like seconds, like 30 seconds,
yeah,
like
no, it's yeah, it's
27 seconds. I mean, there's no
yeah.
way you can get anything out of it. I mean,
No, not really.
like you can't
So
get any vocal. I mean, I mean, 36 seconds is usually an intro to most songs. So,
yeah,
musical intro till you hit lyrics is what I'm saying. Like, it's
right.
just kind
Yeah,
of
it's
crazy.
36 seconds is usually the lead into the first verse.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, it's kind of,
So yeah, like I mean, if you're into stuff that's influenced by punk or like I don't really care for grindcore as a subgenre, but
mm-hmm.
if you're into grindcore or if you're into kind of like punk influence, you may enjoy this more than I did. But
I mean, they got
stereo,
11,000 listeners on Spotify. So, I
yeah.
mean,
So
somebody's into it.
right, no, and that like I said, that's totally fine. These
Maybe just people with
like
short attention spans or something. I don't know.
maybe like we've always said, we're not experts, and
Right.
our album reviews are just one person's
Yeah, they're
opinion,
opinionated.
so
Opinionated. Yep.
that's
So,
it. So
so
yeah.
good deal. All right. What do we have to look forward to next week then? So,
Oh man, do we have some stuff to look forward to
do
for the
we? Do
25th?
we? Do
Yes,
we? Do we?
yes, we do.
Oh.
Looking forward to this coming
Oh
Friday.
God, that's right. There's
Yeah,
at least two that I know of.
yeah,
I forget about. I forget we're so close to the end of the month. It's like,
yeah. All right, over at Heavy Music HQ, our friends over there, April 25th, next Friday, 2025. Leading off with Aeonizer with the Profane Era, Aham Kara with the Harrow of the Lost, Andre Drake Project with Wolves, Angels on Fire with Falling from the Sky, Another Damn Disappointment with Bedlam, Aortus with Carry On, Art Nation with The Ascendants, The Atrocity Circus with Malpractice, Avenger of Blood with Revenge is My Name, that's an EP, Bank Mina with Imuria, Bark with The Time Has Come, Beholder within the Temple of the Tyrant, Bifter with First Impressions of Hell, Big Brave with Ost, Black Sword Thunder Attack with a self-titled album, Blacks with Certesia, Blister Brigade with A Rioting New Breed, Brick by Brick with Collapse, that's an EP, Cadaver with Hymns of Misanthropy, Caliban with Back from Hell,
oh,
Cancer, yeah, Caliban,
oh man.
Cancer with Inverted World, Catacombs within the Depths of with Early Earlier, I don't know. Changeling with a self-titled album, The Chris Rolling Squad with Damn You All to Hell, Sirith Ungol with Live at the Roxy, Coffin Feeder with Big Trouble, Kogas with Among the Dead, How to Become a Ghost, Conan with Violence Dimension, Cosmic Cathedral with Deep Water, Katoba with Sin Swims, Danny Veris with Can't Stop the Rock, Dead Hazards with Celine, Deserted Fear with Veins of Fire, Disfuneral with In Horror Reborn, Drain Down with Mental Pollution, Earl of Hell with a self-titled album, Elon with Elon versus Elon, Dylon. Spit Hot Fire. Elevaity with Anv, Employed to Serve with Fallen Star, Eyes with Spinner, Fat Bastard with Barely Dressed, Fellgrave with Other Like Darknesses, Gaffed with I Can Feel Myself Rot, Game Over with Face the End, Ghost with Skeleta, Ghost Seeker with Divergence, Goose with Everything Should Go, The Great Sea with Noble Art of Desolation, Green Goat with Aloft, Hemorrhage with Opera Medica, that's an EP, Hans and Valter with The Legend of the Oaken Source, Harem Scarum with Chasing Euphoria, it's a name you haven't heard in a minute, Harem Scarum,
Mm.
Heat with Welcome to the Future, Higher Walls with No End, that's an EP, Hyena with About Rock and Roll, Imminent Sonic Destruction with Floodgate, Inhuman Nature with Greater Than Death. Oh. Then we have Incinerate Him with Irreverence of the Divine, Jack Star with Out of the Darkness Part 2, Jar with In Truth We Trust, that's a re-release, Jarbo with Disburden Disciple, that's a re-release. Then we have Yordso with I think this is a split. Hold on. Yordso Bride Bredablick with Contraster. It is a split album. We have Kanon Fiber with Live in Oberhausen, Kardashev with Alunia, Klaus Schultz with Bon Voyage, Landmarks with The Darkest Place I've Ever Been, Listless with a self-titled album, Liv Christine with Amor Vincent Omnia, Lord Vampire with The Greatest Bloodbath, Machine Head with Unatoned, yes. Mad Invasion with Crack in the Sky, Malforce with Force du Mal, Malum Mortem with Volume 1, Mano de Piedra, which translates into Hand of Stone, Tales from the Burnt House, Mark Solotroff with In Search of Total Placelessness, Megafauna with I'm not even going to try to fucking read that. You got letters that are upside down. I'm not even going to try to read that. Miss Lava with Under a Black Sun, Monhell with A Last Sigh of Pain, Morbific with Bloom of the Abnormal Flesh, North Void with Ember Remains, that's an EP, Oak with The Third Sleep, Of the Muses, Under Heavens, Of Blood, Ghosts, and Saltwater, Opia, I Welcome Thee Eternal Sleep, Oracle Hands with Dirge for the Doomed, Orison Space Collective with A Lot of Hella Down in Estrella, ooh, that's a lot, Ornamentos del Miedo with Vacío como el tronco de un árbol muerto. Oria, with This Future Wants Us Dead. Our Frankenstein with Magnum Spire Hotel. Pagan Altar with Never Quite Dead. Panzer Ballet with Ubercode Ouvre. Panzerkrieg with Day of Genocide, that's an EP. Phantom with Tyrants of Wrath. PLQ MRX with Come Get Some. Oh, that's an oh they squished that all together. That's actually kind of clever. That's an EP. Point Mort with Le Point de Non Retour. Pro Fanatica with Wreathed in Dead Angels. That's an EP. Prost with Believe Again. Raven with Screaming Down the House, 1985 to 1988 box set. The Riven with Visions of Tomorrow. Sacred Steel with Ritual Supremacy. Samiaris with Rain Destroyer. That's an EP. Sigyn with Helgen Combat, Slam Dynastus with Wild and Restless, Snake Mother with a self-titled re-release, Society of Villains with Good and Evil, that's an EP, Spiritus Mortis with The Great Live, The Storyteller with The Final Stand, Structure with Heritage, Sumac and More Mother with The Film, not sure if that's a split or not, it doesn't say, Sunflower Bean with Mortal Primetime, Teaser Suite with Night Stalker, Temple Fang with Lifted from the Wind, Trick or Treat with Ghosted, Valkenrog with Fury Untamed, that's an EP, Vampiria with The Melancholic Charm of the Moon, Vape Warlock with And His Skull Shall Make My Bong, various artists, Brown Acid, The 12th Trip, Venator with Psychodrome, The Victorious Dead with The Reaper at the Gates, Void King with The Hidden Hymnal Chapter 2, Voland with The Grieving Fields, Vomitizer with Release the Rats, Wednesday 13 with Mid-Death Crisis, Wolves in the Throne Room with the re-release of their 2005 demo, The Yagas with Midnight Minuet, and YHWH with Tetragrammaton. That is an EP. So quite the list coming up this week. So
yeah, some big hitters too. So
yeah. Yep. So a lot to look forward to this week.
Cool. Yeah, well, I know at least two that we're going to be listening to. So.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing was, is I thought there was another one that was supposed to come out that looks like it either got moved or maybe I was wrong about the release date. Huh. Not sure.
Well, who was it?
Arch Enemy.
I came out already.
Did it? Okay, then then they must have. I just had it wrong in my head.
That was like 2 weeks ago, I think.
I had it wrong in my head then because I thought it was later in April. So
yeah. I don't know. I came out like 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
I might have. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
I was going to say you listened to it. You was talking about it.
Yeah, I know. This shit all runs together after a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, still, quite a bit of stuff to listen to next week. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's it. Big hitters coming out, and we're reaching out to one of the bands that's actually in that list. Hopefully, we can get them on the show next week.
Yep.
that's one of the things that we do, that you need to follow us on one of the socials, because that's kind of where we announce any changes to the show, or if
Yep.
we have a last minute interview. Uh, if we can get that locked down by Monday, I'm okay with. But anything past that, I try to push it because I want to have time to promote it.
Oh, of course. We want
Because
to let everybody know.
I feel like we're failing them if we don't, because I mean that's what we're doing. We're trying to push new bands in front of people, and
Right.
so give them the stories and what kind of went on with making albums and all that good stuff. And then we got a couple other things in the fire too that I want to start doing too. Is just trying to get some different perspectives from different parts of the business too. So uh, I think that's an important thing. I think as a fan, you tend to see what you see as far as like the band live, and that's kind of what you take. And you don't realize what all goes into that a lot of times. I mean,
Yeah.
you,
There's.
you got lighting crews and sound guys, and electrical people, and all kind of
Yeah.
people that make those things happen. But behind the scenes too, marketing and stuff like we talked about. That makes it. We got PR people in our inbox all the time throwing stuff at us. So
Mm-hmm.
so much we can't keep up. I mean, I got 3 albums downloaded, still I haven't listened to yet. I mean,
Yeah.
I know there's a way out before they were released, but I'm still like, damn, I feel bad because I haven't listened to it yet. One I am going to listen to because I think the one lady reached out to us and said, hey, this is they actually wanted feedback from it, so
Oh.
I'm going to actually listen to that probably sometime tomorrow, and then try to get some feedback on that. So. And
Right.
also, I don't know if I said this earlier in the show, but I'm going to try to get through a lot of the interviews that we did over last weekend, and cut those up, and try to get those put on there. Also, the onslaught interviews it's been working on. I'm almost done with it, so I'll get that onslaught interview definitely on Spotify and Rumble this weekend, because that's the only 2 places that have only the interviews. So if you ever want to see any of the interviews that we do, there's the 2 places to go: Rumble or Spotify.
Yep.
Every other outlet has everything that we do.
Yep.
So if you're not into the weekly shows like we do, then you just want to hear about the bands, then go to those 2 places and you're all set. So,
Yep.
uh, so
Absolutely.
and, and then, like I said, I'll try to get some of that stuff from last week cut up, and get that rolling, because I want to make sure I get all that done and out there before we get too far ahead of myself, and wind up being an editor for a month. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I hate editing. That's why we do live shows. I hate editing.
Right,
So,
man. I mean,
well, we don't
I
have time to edit for one.
no
So,
shit. Yeah. It's just yeah. So it's just easier doing this live, and then the main show live. And if anybody wants to check it out after the fact, they can. It's
well,
just
yeah,
it
it's
is what
there.
it is.
It's there for ever, I guess.
Yep.
And
Yep.
YouTube and places like that, at least they're there forever. So,
That's right.
and the Spotify content's there for. I mean, as long as I'm paying for it, I guess it's there. So,
Yeah.
uh, anyway, like I said, also, if you're new here and you didn't know, we do have a 24/7 radio station. You can stream that at stream.trulyradio247.com/8008/stream.
That's right.
And if anybody has been on that and has some issues getting there, which like I did earlier 2 weeks ago, uh, I think they had like some outage over there. It's actually based in London, so they have different time frames and stuff, so they do different updates at different times. So
Right.
unfortunately, it's in the middle of the day for us, so I'm kind of like, what the hell happened? But,
Yeah.
so they were doing updates, but anyway, that's kind of what goes on with that. So if you kind of get over there and there's nothing going on, that's probably what's going on. And if you do see something there, because we're not able to get on there every day ourselves, if you do hear something on there that's out of the ordinary or whatever, you can always email us at metalheadsusa@gmail.com.
That's right.
And
Let us know.
Chris will let you know where you can find us.
Yep. You follow us on all of our social media platforms, our Facebook group and Facebook page, on X, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, TikTok, Instagram, and Spotify. One difference between the Facebook group and the Facebook page: the Facebook page is public to everybody. The Facebook group is by member request. So if you want to join the group, which is a lot more interactive, there's a little bit more content on there. Just send us a member request. We'll get you guys hooked up.
And then if you want the, you want to see album reviews or something like that, then a lot of that's on the page. So
That's right.
We try to make sure that when we do stuff like that, it goes out to everybody. So
Uh-huh.
the group page is kind of more for networking, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably I would say, if you want
Yeah.
to, if you want to join there, if you're in a band or if you want to go on there and share new music with us, I mean, because we can't,
That's right.
we don't see everything. So it's,
Nope.
we're a community, metal community. So
That's right.
that's why they say metal community, because we all have to help each other. So.
Yes, yes, and yes.
All right, gang. I guess that will bring us to a close this week. Like I said, reach out to the socials, or even if you don't follow us, you can go to that page on Facebook and see what's kind of going on, because it is public, so you can see if there's a change in the show or whatever. Because, like I said, we are in talks right now. We're just trying to work out a date and time. So if it is next week, it will be a Saturday. So if you show up. Don't want you to show up here on Friday expecting something and we're not here, because we are probably one of the few podcasts that are pretty consistent. So
we kind of pride ourselves on that too. So
yeah, we're pretty much here every week. So
Yep.
either Friday or Saturday, we're here one of those days, depending on. We always try to accommodate the bands, because this is their platform to promote what they're doing, and we want to be able to give them that platform to do so. So
that's right. Quick thank you to Peyton Spears for joining us in the chat tonight. And if you guys are looking for something to watch other than the Metalheads Unite podcast after you've done watching the Metalheads Unite podcast, head on over to YouTube or Instagram for sure. And Peyton Spears, he's a hell of a guitar player. Like we said at the beginning of the show, only 15 years old. He's got a super duper bright future. So go check out some of his content. So Peyton Spears Music. Peyton with a P-E-Y, not a P-A-Y. So
they actually spelled it wrong in the thing, didn't they?
I can't remember if they did or not.
I
don't remember. Maybe they did.
I thought they did. Because I remember when I was trying to look him up or whatever, it kept giving me some soccer chick or something. I'm like, what?
they may have spelled it wrong.
Yeah. I think once I figured it out, then he gave me all of his stuff. But it was pretty funny. Yeah. Anyway, and thanks to all the people watching us on X tonight. We appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
We're on Twitch as well, and then we had a Facebook person on at one point, but they bounced they always bounce like right at the end when we say we're about to close. So
that's fine.
Also, you can reach out to us about any merch things. You can message us or email us, either one. We do have a couple of T-shirts out there, so don't have them with me. But if you want to, like I said, you want to join the group or page, we have pictures there. So head on over there. All right, guys. With that being said, we'll wrap this one up. Hopefully, we'll see you back here next Friday or Saturday, depending on what kind of goes on with it. I kind of hate leaving people in limbo like that, but I mean,
it's always a fluid situation though, with trying to reach out and coordinate schedules. So
we don't have anybody to do that for us, so it's all DIY here. Two guys and a podcast, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, guys, appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll see you back here. Thanks for your support. Thanks for everybody at Rockin' Pod for taking their time to talk to us too. That was pretty amazing for you guys to do what you do. I know it's a Saturday, and it's kind of like these people could be out doing 20,000 other things, but they're at Rockin' Pod talking to podcasters. So
that's right.
We appreciate that. So anyway, until next week, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great